Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about a lot of things I see on the news, like why is China so misunderstood? And it's mainly because of the USA leaded media, and they're followed by all their little NATO friends like England and Germany and Canada and Australia. They all have negative things to say about China, and that's what they want you to. They want to spread negative news about China. And why do they want to spread negative news about China? Well, it's because China is growing stronger, their economy is getting stronger, and they don't want you to know just how good China has it. They don't want you to see how China is today. It's like looking into the future, like their people are so happy. They live a very prosperous, clean, healthy, safe life, and that's basically what the rest of the world really doesn't want you to see. Let's do a little history about China. Back in the 70s, it started in about the 70s, and since then China has brought about 800 million people out of poverty. And they did that they started in the 70s and 80s. They started to let international finance, and they invited international investment into China, and that was the beginning of the world's factory. And people would come there. They wanted stuff made cheaply so they could bring home to sell in their countries, and that's how it all started, and that's basically how it still is. But in the early 2000s, China overtook USA's factory output. So China started in the early 2000s. China started making more than the USA did, and that's when it officially became the world's factory, and it has been ever since, because it is still to this day and more affordable to make everything in China than it is in your own country, and then you'll take it home to your own country and sell it there. But doing so, China doing very good and become the world's factory, it's no surprise that it is the leading trade partner with over 120 countries around the world. There's only 195 countries in the world, and China is the leading trading partner in over 120 of them countries. And that includes, surprisingly, USA and all the big names. They're all there. USA, India, Singapore, Australia, Canada, Russia, Ukraine. Ukraine is still one of China's the top trading partner there, and all over the world. Like out of I'm not going to name 120 countries, but most of the world, China is the main trading partner for them countries, because China makes EVs, all pretty well everything you buy. It has a made in China label, but they're the main top manufacturer of EV electric vehicles now, for which my wife and I have a brand new BYD Autos 3 in China there that we bought there not too long ago. But their solar panels, solar energy, green energy, they've cleaned up the air, like amazing how much they've cleaned the air up in the last few years. And clothing, machinery, all that kind of stuff is manufactured in China and probably brought to your country to buy. You look at the little labels on the inside, everything, 85–90% of everything I buy, you look at the label inside, it says made in China. So, and another really interesting fact about this here is that China did this peacefully. They never invaded another country. And China has always been a peaceful nation in the last, 75, 80 years before then. We can't count that. You know, there was little revolutions here and there, but China has never invaded another country, and they've done so peacefully, rising to where they are today. And another thing that they did is China's helping a lot of countries with the Belt and Road Initiative, and that's based in Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, Central America. They've helped Jamaica out quite a bit there. And so everything, all they're wanting to do is to increase economic growth for these countries and also trading. So these countries are benefiting by China's help. And all you hear on the Western news about this here is, oh, a China debt trap, a China debt trap. Well, if you ask people, I've watched videos of people in Africa, and the USA will come there and they'll set up a military base here and a military base there to protect their investments in Africa. But what did they really do for Africa? Nothing. China came into Africa, they built roads, they built schools, they built hospitals, and they're helping Africa grow economically and, you know, helping the people. You know, that's what China does, and they've been doing that. So many countries in the world is helping other countries grow. They're not going to other countries to build military bases. I think they have one somewhere, not sure where, but I think they have one, and USA has like 900 military bases, and they're still building more. And so yeah, China does everything it does peacefully. They don't want to fight anybody. And and the stupid thing about the news is, oh, China's going to invade Taiwan. Well, I don't know whether you guys know this, but Taiwan is officially, and most countries recognize, the one China policy. And what does that mean? That Taiwan's just a province of China. They're kind of an independent province, but they're still part of China, and most countries in the world acknowledge that there's a one China. Taiwan's not its own thing, but for the last 75 years, ever since World War II, and Taiwan kind of gained its independence, USA has been sticking their nose in and trying to, oh, we're going to help you, and you got to fight that big bad old China. Well, China's not going to invade China. You think that's, you know, the only way that would ever happen is if USA instigated, and USA is trying to instigate it. They're sending politicians, they're sending military, they're weapons, and they're even sending soldiers on islands, and like, oh, people, we're doing this secret. No, they know about it. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But China doesn't fall for it. Xi Jinping is a very smart man. And he's got, you know, it started out with Chairman Mao. That's when it all started, quite a ways back. And now Xi Jinping's been at the reins for quite a while, and he doesn't want to fight. He's talked to Russia about a ceasefire with Ukraine, and there you go. The USA has only pushed and pushed for Ukraine to be part of NATO. And that's what started that war. And I think I've talked about this in past videos, but it could all be stopped tomorrow if Ukraine just said, no, we're going to be a neutral country. We do not want to be part of NATO. And that would stop the war tomorrow. That's all Putin wants. But USA will not let that happen. And unfortunately, it's devastating for Ukraine. And I don't know, I could go on about that, but that's not what this video is about. This video is more about, you know, why don't people understand China? And it's there again, right back to the Western news. You know, China has spent trillions of dollars on their infrastructure, so they could become the world's factory. Anything that China needed, they did it. When the USA tried to stop the computer chips from going into China, oh, we'll fix them, big bad Chinese. You cannot have our computer chips. So what did China do? They just made their own. You know, they took them a while, but they made their own, and then they were surprised. Oh, China did this. Oh, how did they do that? Well, how do you think? You know, they put their mind to it. They're going to do it. And anything that other countries do to try to stop or slow down China, that just makes China stronger. And once again, they're doing it peacefully. They're not going out and clobbering people over the head and bombing this and doing that. No, they put their nose. They're such hard-working people. They figure out how to do it, and they do it. And you're like that. That's been ongoing now since the 70s. You know, they're doing really good. They just keep progressing and progressing, and everything they need, they make. And they're not afraid to spend a lot of money to get what they need, and then once it's there, it's there. It'll all pay for itself eventually. You know, all the buildings and the high-speed trains, and you know, we've been back in China here lately, and it's like looking into the future. You know, when you see their high-speed trains, we've been on their high-speed trains. They go 305 kilometers an hour, and it's awesome and so smooth. You can just set your beer down there and have a nice smooth ride. Their high-speed trains, their roads, their bridges, their cities are modern. At night they light up like you stand back like wow. And now that China's opened up to tourism, there's some places that you don't even need, European countries that you don't even need a visa to go into China. And they also got it so that you can go into China for 144 hours and 48 hours, and so many people are coming into China and they're making YouTube videos. And the people that are coming there said, like, we were so scared to come here, but now that we've come here, we actually seen and we opened our eyes that there's nothing to be afraid of. And they're like in awe, like, really? This is China? It's so beautiful, it's so safe, it's so clean. And, you know, you can see that the Chinese people are out there doing things all the time. Like everywhere else in the world, inflation has risen. You know, I think it's coming down a little bit now, but in China there's actually deflation. It's down just about 0.8%, so just about 1% down. So things that you could buy in China 10 years ago, a lot of things are still the same price they are today. It's so affordable to live there. You know, my wife and I can't wait to go there and live. It's so exciting, but it's just so darn, what's the right word? It's so disheartening to see the news and China bad, China bad. That's all they want you to see. Because why? Because they don't want you to look at their doorstep. Have you ever seen videos about the USA News? Let's take them for instance, big bad USA. You know, we're number one, but their cities are, you know, in California right now, their homeless rate is just skyrocketed. Their drugs, their crime rate, the guns, as usual in USA. Crime is a big thing in USA, and you know, there is some crime in China, but it's so minuscule for 1.4 billion people. The little bit of crime they have, and if something ever does happen, they show it on media right away. But you know, every day in USA, I don't know how many people get shot a day. There's people getting killed there every day. And they just kind of, you know, that's just normal. You know, another mass shooting, oh, that's just normal. You don't need to hear about that. Don't look at us, but look at China. Look how bad China is. They want to rule the world. They don't want to rule the world. They're just trying to make the world a better place, peacefully. And India, one of China's neighbors, I watched the First Post News, and they're so China bad, because they think they're an up-and-coming economy, which they are. You know, their GDP is growing, but they'll never achieve China's growth or achievements because their government is so restrictive. And, you know, you'd have to look into that there. But, you know, India, you know, I love all people. I'm not a racist. But India, you see their videos from there, it's not safe for women. I can't remember how many women get raped a day there. It's horrible. You know, it's very unsafe and very unhygienic for a lot of it. So, but you know, that's, you know, venturing off in a little different things here. You know, inflation in Germany's gone crazy, and in Europe, the whole thing there. You know, and that's all USA. You can't get this. You can't buy oil off of Russia, so everybody in Germany's buying oil off of India that India gets from Russia, and it's just a vicious little cycle. But I don't know, I think I'm starting to go around in circles here now, but I think I made my point. You know, I think China is so misunderstood, and That's the reason why, is because the news wants you to believe that China's not good. And they don't want you to look at China, but they surely hell don't want you to look at their countries either. They don't want you to have a good hard look at USA, England, India, you know, all these places there where it's just not safe, it's not clean, there's riots, you know, the Olympics started up the other day and they're rioting over the trains and they're burning the this and that and they're raping people. Jesus Christ, you know, you know, and China, it's just so safe and clean. And I encourage all of you that stuck around till now, get a visa, go to China and see for yourself. You know, you'll just see what other people see when they go there and they're making all these positive videos. Go on YouTube and search out China travel and you'll see all the people from all over the world going to China and just, oh, I didn't expect this. So just, you know, open your eyes, open your mind to what it actually is, because it is quite awesome. You know, I've been to China many times. I think it's awesome. I can't wait to retire there. It's awesome. So I don't know, I think I'm going to close here, and like, thanks again for all your support, and like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So I think I got everything I wanted here. So okay, bye for now. Zai Jian.